Hello and welcome to Messy Conversations with WATCHHOLLIE. I'm Holly.
And I'm Melissa.
And we're going to talk about today relationships. We started this podcast to get into the nitty gritty side of relationships, whether they're platonic or romantic, and kind of just talk about all social situations and everything in between. So let's start off first with, how do you even know what you want in a person for a relationship?
Yeah, and I think that's such an important question to ask because I feel like when people very, very first start dating, they're like, I don't really know what kind of person that I'm looking for. I'm just going to, date someone who I consider a friend. And I think that if you put a little bit extra time, a little bit extra energy into like really recognizing and understanding what attributes and characteristics you're looking for in a person, can actually really, really help you find your lifetime partner so much faster.
No, most definitely. I'm very much so of, you manifest the person in your life. So you have to first know exactly what you want in order to even manifest it to begin with.
Exactly. So like for me, I really like to base what characteristics I'm looking out of my morals. So like my morals are very much like, be a good person, like be kind to wait staff when you go out to restaurants, like listen to other people, be understanding and communicative, like have some sympathy and empathy for people. So I think it's super, super important for people to just like recognize like, okay, what are like my biggest priority? And just like start creating that kind of list of attributes in your head.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can build off of your last relationships, because that's when you can find out what you are not looking for. And that's okay. It's okay to be exclusionary when it comes to that. It's like I don't want someone that is toxic. I don't want someone that is controlling. So you can have those little things, but then also think about the inclusivity of like, okay, well, what do I want? Like, let me include this positive attribute so you can find those. If you have all those negatives kind of built up, it's hard to be like, okay, well, you know what you don't want, but what about what you do want? So take your past relationships, figure out what you don't want, and then translate that to, okay, I want someone like financially stable. Like that's a completely like normal thing that you can ask someone of. Or I want someone that takes care of their hygiene, like things like that. Like it could be like little things, and then it can go into like the emotional part as well too. Obviously, be nice and respectful and things like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And going off of what you said about like, after previous relationships, you now know what you don't want. I think that is such an underutilized skill and like thing to understand, where it's like, oh, my relationship with this person just didn't work out. And then they just move on with their life. But if you actually spend some time going into like reflection and being like, why specifically did this not work out? Not like, like drama scenario situations, but like what characteristics about this person just like didn't really vibe with me that much.
And then when you find someone, if they don't match that, if you want a successful relationship that lasts, like if we're thinking of marriage, because that's where you and I are coming from. It's like, okay, want to eventually get married. Then you just say bye to the people you're dating if they don't match that list.
Yeah.
Like you just don't,
honestly,
yeah, you just don't give them the time, because time is valuable.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think that's absolutely spot on.
So before we move on to the next part, I want to know, like, what are your 3, 5, like, give a little list, like up to 5 of what your kind of checklist of a person is.
Yeah, I think it's really important to establish the difference between would like to haves and absolutely necessaries,
Like deal breakers?
Exactly. So like for me, a nice to have would be, it would be really nice if they were
nice.
That's a requirement.
Yeah, fair.
I'm trying to think of something. Oh my God, I should prep this.
It's okay. Here, do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay. I already kind of listed 2 of mine when I gave an example. One is they have to be hygienic. Like that is a must have for me. That's it would be nice. It's like, no, like I like need you to be clean, whether that's your person or your surroundings. I'm a very clean person. And I got that from dating someone before, and they were very dirty and stinky, and I just couldn't do it.
Yes.
So that's a must have for me. So hygiene. and cleanliness, I guess. The other one is financially stable as well too. They don't have to be making millions of dollars. I'm not looking for anything. I'm looking for a job, and like, or at least working towards a job. Like if they're in school, whatever, like they have something. I don't have to be paying for them. I don't have to be managing their money. They're financially able and independent. Those are like kind of like an outside. It's not about their personality at that point, right? Yeah. And so like, I don't care their job. I don't care how tall they are, things like that. Those are just something that I've kind of learned. It's like, okay, that's what I need. Going more into the personality attributes is communication. I need them to be honed in. Like, I am not messing around. I'm going to get married one of these days. And it's like, they need to be honed in on their feelings. They need to be able to communicate. And it has to be compatible with my communication, because sometimes just other people's communication is different, and that's okay and valid. But I need it to match mine exactly.
Yes. Yes, 100%.
That is, I think those are like my top three.
The top three of the top three.
Of the top three. Exactly. And that I really, really need.
Yeah. I mean, I really like how you separated personality attributes versus like their lifestyle. So then for me, like more so of just like lifestyle kind of characteristics, one of the biggest ones that I look for is that they don't want to have children. Like I know that I do not want children at any point in my life. And so I just don't want to get involved with anyone who does, because I know that
like,
our
why would you
lifestyles-
even?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to waste their time. I don't want my time wasted, you know.
I'm going to slip that into my top 3 and add it to the top 4.
Perfect. The top 4 of the top 3.
Yes, exactly.
So I would say that that's definitely number 1 for me. Number 2 would definitely be someone who is ambitious, someone who has a lot of drive and determination in their life. So I'm very much looking for someone in that regard. When it comes to characteristics, for me, number 1 is humor. That is like the number 1 thing. I have to date someone and be with someone who is funny, and like they need to be like my kind of funny.
Not also just is funny, but also thinks you're funny as well too.
Yes, they need to laugh at my jokes.
Yes, we're not joking.
Every single one of them. We're not. That's not a joke. Another thing that I would say, my top 4 of my top three. My 4th one would be definitely a romantic. Like I myself am very much like your stereotypical like hopeless romantic. Like I grew up only watching rom-coms. I also really like to do that kind of stuff for the person that I'm dating too, you know?
Yeah.
Like I really like to, you know, be able to surprise them with like little notes written and then randomly hid around the house for them to eventually find, or you know, be able to surprise them. Like we go out to dinner and then come back and like the whole house is decorated, or like, you know, just like those really cute little gestures that like, for me, I really enjoy, because I think of it as more of like a creativity. Like for me, that's very much how I express love.
Yeah.
And so I very much also like, I feel love that way too, where if like, you know, I'm going about my day and, you know, my partner wrote me a little love note, or like just have a good day, like, oh, that would make me so happy.
Perfect. No, amazing. Okay, so let's move on to kind of the next segment of it. Now that we have, we've manifested this person, how do we now attract the person that you want?
Yeah, which I think is such a great question. And so many people have that kind of question where it's like, okay, you know, there's that girl next door, the one that I'm like, you know, crying after and everything, but how do I get her to like me? For me, when I was very first starting to like, you know, get feelings in like high school or whatever it was probably younger than that. But when I was starting to date was in high school, and I realized like, oh, if I want to have like the number 1 guy, like top of the class, I need to like be number 1 girl, the top of the class. Like I
That's
need
such
to,
a
like,
you thing to say.
I know.
Of course you wanted the number 1 coolest popular dude.
Yes, because I'm the number 1
coolest popular girl.
You're
right. Oh my god.
I was in band for a reason, okay? But like for me, my sort of moral code then shifted into like, okay, what I'm looking for someone is who I want to become.
But I think it's less of like, oh, like I want to like date this popular person, so I'll become popular. It's more of just like the intrinsic kind of like the internal feelings of like, okay, so if I want someone nice, I have to be nice. Like if I want someone, like all of those things, it's like, okay, so like work towards who you are. And then you kind of put yourself into situations to find people like this. So if you say
manifesting.
Yeah. So if you're like, okay, well, I want someone athletic. If you start joining gyms and sports and recreational, whatever, then you're going to find other people that are also athletic. So it's not only working on yourself, but it's literally putting you in front of other people that are like-minded.
Yes, 100%. I think that's absolutely on par.
All right, so we have 4 questions. We'll see how many we get through. The first question is, how should one handle one-sided efforts and bring up that's how one is feeling without sounding needy or selfish?
The biggest thing to do is to identify what your needs are in a relationship. So if your needs are, look, I really need that emotional connection, then that's a priority, right? Or if it's like, physical touch, or if it's like, I need to go on dates, I need to, whatever it is that is your really big relationship priority, and need, that is something that you would need to communicate to your partner. And so the important thing to remember is that needs are not selfish. If it is something that you need, you will never be selfish by asking for it. Same thing with like just regular life. If you ask for food, you're not being needy. It's okay. You just need that food,
Yeah, literally.
It's the same thing with relationships too. And so you ideally would feel comfortable enough going up to your partner to have this sort of discussion. And I would lay it out first by saying like, look, this is what my needs are in this relationship, and this is how I feel and express love, but also how I receive it. And this is something that I really, really need for our relationship to work. And then from there are able to go and have that discussion. But during that discussion, I think it's very important to remember that your needs are never selfish.
I love that. No, that's really great, because the question literally asked without sounding needy or selfish. I really don't think it is. Something like, ideally, the question itself, I think, comes with a little insecurity of whoever's asking this question. Like, how do I not sound needy or selfish? It's insecure. But that could also be brought on by the partner. Like, why are you feeling insecure? Is it in your brain? Is it just who you are? Or is it because you voiced things before and it's been shot down? Or is it because your partner is saying you're being too needy? Or it's like, no, that's selfish of you. Are they the one putting those thoughts into your head? So either working towards becoming more confident in who you are as a person, or 2, breaking up with that person. What the heck? How dare they? But then, or maybe not being so rash about it, trying to strengthen that foundation, because it sounds like the foundation is a little bit rocky. Having like weekly check-ins or like something, because sometimes bringing up your needs and your wants and things like that in the heat of a moment could take the person who is not used to you communicating at all, because you're stuffing things down, as like they'll get defensive or they won't understand. It's like, where's this coming from? So you can use the techniques that you know of communication and bring that into a dialogue of, how do we strengthen this foundation where I feel comfortable talking with you about something that I need, and why you are feeling like I'm being needy, or why you are feeling like you're not, like it's one-sided.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really great idea, especially for people who are used to bottling things up. And if their partner's like, hey, tell me more things, express more things to me, whatever, and like that's like, out of your wheelhouse, I think that's a really, really great way to kind of like take those little steps, because it's not the big scary monster of you having to initiate the conversation. The conversation is there, it's scheduled, it's at 2 o'clock on Tuesday, And so I feel like that would make it so much easier and take so much more off that plate of that person.
Definitely. My dog just coughed and scared me. Did you see me?
No.
Oh yeah, you can't see me.
See you.
I forgot. Wow, you're doing a great job without seeing me. Okay.
Thank you so much.
So our next question is red flags that indicate it may be better to not talk to or engage with a possible romantic interest. There's so many red flags. Why don't we just give like a list of 5 or something?
Yeah.
So my red flag for a person is not communicating. And I said that. Red flag number 2 is wishy-washy or games. I don't mess with that. Red flag number 3, I can go on forever. Controlling. Like it's the controlling jealousy sort of thing. Like if as soon as I get a like sniff, a whiff of just like, oh, that was kind of controlling, immediate red flag, because that will escalate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another one real quick, obviously anger. Like how
yes. Yeah.
Am I stealing all of your ones? I'm so sorry. This is my last one. My last one. Yeah, anger and how they express it. Are they quick to anger? How are they hitting walls? Things like that. That is red flag. I don't even give them a second chance with that one. Like if they are like screaming, yelling, hitting, we are gone. So I feel like, yeah, there's a ton of red flags that you have to figure out first. Same concept, build your checklist, figure out what you want, what you don't want, but then also think about safety as well.
So my top 4 of my top 3 would my number 1 would probably be anger and how they deal with anger, kind of just like how you said. I have been around a lot of really, really angry people, and for me that very much deregulates my whole system, and it's something that just like totally shuts me off. My second red flag would probably be emotional immaturity. So if you're trying to express something and they're just like either not able to understand, or they're not able to understand their own emotions, or they're not able to communicate why their emotions are affecting them the way that they are, I would need a partner who is also at the same level as me and who is also able to reciprocate that as well. So then my third red flag would probably be any sort of controlling behavior, any sort of manipulative behavior, or anything like that. Another red flag, my fourth red flag of my top three red flags, the cleanliness of their place. If they just have a folded chair in front of a TV, like that's
you are about to be murdered. Get out of
Check
there.
The criminal record, yeah.
Oh my
no,
God.
but I think that that's so important, and it's so interesting. I mean, this is another thing we can dive into later, but like, it's so interesting how many small characters and features about a person you can pull out from just like small things like that, how their bedroom looks, and being able to see that, like all of a sudden all these characteristics about them, not in like a judgy way, but like in like a
judgy way.
A cycle. I mean, we're not judgmental people, but if we were, then it would be in a judgmental
Everyone
way.
listening now is gonna be like, crap, I have no like interior design, everyone's gonna think I'm bad. Red flag.
Bed frame sales skyrocket.
I know. All right, so our last question is, I'd love to hear some date fails. Maybe just like short, quick stories, because we're already like running out of time. But do you have any?
Yeah, I'll actually say the biggest fail that I've had. And it was like in like a creepy kind of way. Like, don't do this.
Oh, God.
Like, do not do this kind of fail. I matched with this guy on a dating app, and we had plans to meet up. So we meet up at this coffee shop. We get there, we sit down, we start talking and everything. And this guy has done his research.
On you?
On me.
Oh.
He knows so many things about me. Like, it's normal to like check someone's like social media.
You can like appropriately stalk, but not actually stalk.
Yeah, but then you don't go down and sit in front of them.
That's true. You also don't say that you did.
Exactly. And so like I was sitting there, and he was like, oh yeah, so I saw that you took a trip to Europe a couple of years back. How was that? Tell me about that. I'm like, how'd you know that?
That's so funny.
Like, so basically it was just like this giant awkward conversation of me trying to tell a story, and he's like, oh yeah, I know about that. Then he'd be like, oh, okay. And then
oh my gosh.
awkwardly interviewing me about like, oh, I saw that, you went as this one year for Halloween.
Oh my
Tell me about that
God.
night. And like, oh my God, it was just
Wow.
really awkward. I felt so uncomfortable. Like,
That's so interesting because I feel like in their POV, they're like, oh, I'm going to do my research like it's a job interview and then know all
Yeah.
about this company and be able to ask all these questions and do all these things. But then on the flip side, you don't think about how creepy that actually is.
yes.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I'll tell a story. So you said you had a story of how the other person was kind of bad. I'm going to tell a story about how when I was bad.
Perfect. I'm so ready for this.
Okay, so this is a date fail when I was in college and I was just starting out dating women. And I don't know if you know, women are terrifying. I was going on a few dates with this girl. And I will say, there was a couple things that I saw red flags. And this is why I did what I did. Like, I showed up to her house and then she goes, wow, nice car. I was like, the fuck? Like, and there's just like
in a mean,
yes,
like, passive
she was
aggressive
making
way?
fun of my car. Anyway, so there's definitely like certain red flags, and I wasn't vibing with her, and so I did what I call and what I used to do a slow ghost, and that is like the worst thing that you can possibly do when it's not just a full-on ghost where you just stop replying. It's like every once in a while,
like the breadcrumbs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You'll reply every once in a while and like things like that. After that, I did my slow ghost. And I went to Halloween one year and I was like with my roommates or whatever. She showed up at Halloween. I don't know if she saw me there. I don't know if she found me there. I don't know, whatever. But she was with her little girl, like posse. Like they were all surrounding her, right? I didn't see her. She storms up to me, taps me on the shoulder. And I like turn around and she goes, fuck you. And then she kisses me. And then
No way!
Yes, and then she just runs away. And I'm just there shocked. My roommates are there shocked. Like, and then we see her scurry away, and then all of her little girlfriends like huddle, be like, oh, and then
Oh my God. Did you slowly text her after that too?
No, I didn't.
To slow ghost her?
No, there was no communication after the fact of that. But I understand. I totally fucked up. I was mean and like.
But you got a kiss out of it.
I got. Like I was so shocked. Oh my God.
I would be stunned.
Yeah.
What just happened?
All right. Well, I feel like that's pretty much time. I don't know how many times we'll do this per month. Like when
We're
we get
breadcrumbing
together.
our audience. It's the slow ghost.
I just want you to know that you said bread coming, and I'm gonna leave it in there.
I'm dyslexic.
Oh my God. Amazing. So next time, what we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about setting boundaries and then also how to even like date and the do's and don'ts of dating. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for listening, Tay. Do you have anything else you want to add, Alyssa?
If we slow ghost you guys and are breadcrumbing, then I mean, you guys know to expect it.
Oh my God. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening and we'll see you next time. Bye.